evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Burlington City Council. Tonight is February 20th, 2018. I'd like to take a moment to ask everyone to please silence all electronic devices. I'd also like to ask that we take a moment of silence to remember a city employee who passed away on Saturday. We lost Jay Sharp from our city streets department. If we could take a moment. For tonight's invocation, I turn to Councilmember Bob Ward.
Let us bow our heads, please. First, as we convened a city council meeting, we joined with others throughout the nation in extending our deepest sympathies to the victims and their families of the recent tragedy that occurred in Parkland, Florida. We ask that all the many other victims of such tragedies occurring over the recent years be remembered. We ask that the deaths of these victims not only be mourned, but they be honored by our country's leaders, both public and private, by diligently searching for acceptable solutions to protect our citizens in all of our public places. We ask our citizens to encourage and to support our leaders in their efforts to seek solutions to prevent such tragedies. As we are reminded and remain grateful for the many freedoms of our democracy, we ask for direction and guidance on how to meet our responsibilities to our fellow citizens and our nation. We ask that our efforts be guided by clear insight and our deliberations with wisdom and our decisions with impartiality. And we ask that our actions be guided by the highest standard of ethics and that our personal faiths give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us tonight. Amen.
We have a special presentation this evening. At this time, I'd like to recognize Mr. Sam Hunt from the Pet Adoption and Welfare Society.
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, I am Sam Hunt. Most people know me as that, but I've recently become Vicky's assistant, especially when it comes to paws. She's really the leader, and I tried to get her to come up here and make this presentation because I felt like she would be more popular, you know. But anyway, I'm glad to be here with you. And first of all, I want to thank you for your service to our city. Sometimes, you know, it can be a little trying in public service, but and you don't always get thanked. But I think that this city is very, very fortunate to have the leadership and I guess you'd have to say your politicians, but I'd say your public servants. And I think we're very lucky to have you. And thank you for all you do. I'm glad to be here. We have some donors here and advocates. I brought some brochures, Vicky and I did, we had done. It's really about the shelter. Anyone who didn't get one, we'll have some more we could give you before you leave. It really shows the site plan, and it shows the floor plan, and it's got a couple of pictures that I think reveal what a pleasant atmosphere will be there. And on the back is a picture of a little boy that we used this picture in 2002 when we first started this process. And at that time, he was saying, without your help, I only have 9 days to live. So in 2002, and so ever since then, we've always put him on everything we've done. He sort of brought us luck. Tonight is a great night for the animals of Alamance County. It's a great night for all of you who've worked so hard and done so much, and for all of the animal advocates in our county that have worked during this last 15 years to make the progress that we had. Burlington's been a leader in this journey, but we've always also had amazing support from the other cities and also the county commission. I think this cause is about the only thing left in the world that we can all agree on. I mean, it's amazing. And before you take up the final vote tonight, I wanted to do a brief review of the history of this community-wide public-private effort that's been able to accomplish so much. You know, in 2002, it was dire days. It was almost certain death for any homeless animal taken to the shelter. In that particular year, there were 214 adoptions and 5,000, almost 5,000 euthanizations. The shelter was old then, and it's gotten older. Paul's was formed in 2002, and we commissioned and paid for a study, a survey, to see to gauge the level of community support, because we knew we were going to have to go to the cities and the county, and we wanted to see what the level of community support would be for this effort and what the awareness was of the problem. Well, what we found out is over 80% of the people felt that something should be done, and they were not aware of the situation. And they wanted the public officials to do something about the adoption rate and to increase that and reduce the euthanasia. It was sort of like, it was just out of sight, out of mind. They just didn't think about it. An Elon poll later confirmed those same findings. Anyway, as a result of that, we formed a study commission, and we had city council members from Burlington. We had county commissioners. I believe we had a couple from other towns. We had the Humane Society. We had different, we had veterinarian. We had Paul's members. Anyway, we had a good cross-section of the community. And the result of that study was that, you know, we would build a pet adoption center, and the city would pay, Burlington would pay $250,000, and the county would pay $250,000, and Paul's would raise $250,000 to pay that. Well, we did that, and in 2004 the center opened. Well, we started making some progress on adoptions. In 2004 to 2009, Greg Seals was running it, and he was a member of the police department. They were in charge of it. And we built awareness, we built public support, hired a vet, began to do some spay neuters. All the animals that were adopted were spay neutered. And adoptions got up to about 1,400. However, the intake skyrocketed, and as a result of particularly the bad economy, and you know, in those times around 2008, the euthanasia was up to 6,500 in spite of what we had done. So it was, Greg Seals wrote a report, and he said in that report, look, the only way we're going to make any progress is spay neuter. We couldn't adopt our way out of the problem, and we couldn't kill our way out of it. We had to spay neuter. And so the awareness of the need, increased. And so in 2010, we opened the spay neuter clinic. And Paul's rented the building and helped furnish it, and the city helped remodel it. And since it opened in 2010, it's done 11,000 spay neuters. And we had some stops and starts and problems in 2 days, and Dr. Courtney was really a hero in that effort, you know. But now they're on pace this year, that this next year we may do 2,500 spay neuters there. So it's, and like I said, we pay the rent, but this guy that owns it, what's Buddy's name?
Buddy Thornton.
Buddy Thornton. I went to high school with him. But he has refused to raise the rent during all this time because he supports what we're doing. Well, The intake was, in 2013, had dropped to 6,200. It had gotten up to about 8,000. And the euthanasia dropped to 4,614. And in 2014, we had a real fortunate occurrence. Jess Arias came to work for us. And on pages 8 and 9 of the brochure, you can see the 2013 statistics and the 2017 statistics. And you can see, since Jess has been here and her team, and with the city's support and everybody else's support, and the improvement in spay-neuter, it's been amazing what's been accomplished during the last 4 years. The intake is down from 6147 to 4595. Placements, adoptions are up from 1325 to 3702 in 2017. Euthanasia is down from 4614 in 2013 to 1,057 this year. This past year, 2017. And spay-neuters are now increased from 2,000 to 4,700 a year. And folks, that's a huge, huge deal right there. That is, and that's why, along with the good work, and they're working with the rescue groups and every way they can get an animal placed, and under difficult circumstances, because everybody's been out to that shelter knows the working conditions are not ideal. Anyhow, after Jess came, the city, did a needs study, paid for a needs study, so that we would know what the professionals thought we needed in terms of a shelter. And we got that. And in 2015, we formed another study commission, which is in this brochure, who was on it and what they, matter of fact, Councilman Owen was on it and Councilman Butler was on it. But anyway, the result of that study was that 100% we needed to build a shelter. And so in 2016, it would build a shelter, and we agreed that a budget should be $5,250,000. Well, as it worked out, in 2016, the city hired the architect, Jackson Ryan, which is a professional, animal architect, and they're out of Houston. They do good work. And the funding was agreed to. The county agreed to put up $2.9 million. And the city of Burlington, 1.6, and Paul, 750. Anyway, we got the design complete. I have to say that Hardin Watkins and his team, and Eric Hilton particularly, I think worked hard to work with the architects, and later during the bid process. And the bids came in on within budget, which is a miracle. And a testament, I think, to their good work. And another good thing that happened about that is an Alamance County contractor is a low bidder. So I think everybody's real happy about that. So back in 2002, we started addressing this problem collectively as a community. And in some ways we didn't know what we were doing, but we ended up putting a Band-Aid on it at that time. And then we just kept getting better and kept working, stayed committed. And right now, it's no longer a Band-Aid. With the good work that our staff is doing out at the shelter, and with the opportunity to build this facility, we're within our ability not to put a Band-Aid on this problem, but to solve it. So, you know, I'd like to thank you again, all the public officials, all our supporters, our donors, the Paul's board. It's been a pleasure. It's been an experience. I've grown old during this time. I was a pretty young man when we started this. So was Harold. So was Bob. Anyway, of course, I'm happy to answer any questions. But at this time, I'd like to turn it over to you. And if you vote the way I hope and believe you will, then I think we can all pat ourselves on the back for doing some really good work. So anyway, thank you for allowing me to be here, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Sam. And thank you so much, Vicki, for coming this evening. Thank you for all of our supporters out there.
Oh, goodness gracious, I gotta recognize Mr. Bullis as one of our really good contributors. He gave us $50,000, and he we didn't even have to ask him, he volunteered it. And one thing I did forget to mention, that during all this time, the public has donated, and Paul's has raised through the public, $1,850,000, which includes the $750 that we have to pay on this, but 2,200 individual contributions. So I think that speaks well of the community, and our contributions are as small as $10 and as large as $100,000. And we're glad to have one of our really big donors here tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we recognize City Clerk Renee Ward.
Members of council, it's my responsibility to remind you of your duty to avoid conflicts of interest. I ask if there are any potential conflicts concerning tonight's agenda items.
Before council are minutes from February 5th work session and February 6th city council meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve those minutes? So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Minutes have been approved. Before council is the agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to adopt the agenda as written.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Agenda has been approved. Next is our consent agenda. These items are typically non-controversial. If anyone has any questions, please let us know. Item A, to adopt a resolution implementing a health in all policies approach designed to promote health, equity, and sustainability. Item B, to reclassify a firefighter position level 20 to strategic initiatives manager position level 30, effective upon council approval. Item C, to set a date of public hearing for March 6, 2018 for citizens to comment on area housing and community development needs. Item D, to approve banking resolutions authorizing an investment account with American National Bank and to authorize the city clerk to attest resolutions, as well as authorize the city manager, director of finance and risk management, and accounting treasury manager as signers on the account. Item E, to approve amendments to the 2017-2018 annual action plan of the community development program. Item F, budget amendment 2018-27, animal services donation, the details of which are spelled out in your agenda. Item G, budget amendment 2018-29, CDBG reallocation of funds, the details of which are also spelled out in your agenda. Do I hear a motion from council to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion is passed. We have 3 items of new business this evening. The first one, as Mr. Hunt mentioned, the City Council will consider awarding a contract for the expansion and construction of Burlington Animal Services Facility to Dodson and Chapman Construction, Inc., and approve Budget Amendment 2018-28 Animal Shelter Project Ordinance. The details of which on this are spelled out in your agenda. At this time, we recognize City Manager Hardin Watkins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This agenda item has 2 parts. Part A is awarding the contract for expansion and construction of the Burlington Animal Services Facility. Part B is approval of the necessary budget amendment to appropriate and set aside funds to complete the project. So if council's inclined to authorize this project after we finish the presentation, you can vote one time, one motion to approve both items. Mr. Eric Hilton from our Public Works Department, he's our Operations and Project Engineer, will speak in just a moment about the specifics of the bid process, the selection of low bidder, and the projected timetable for completion. A couple things I want to say before yielding the floor to Eric is, and Mr. Hunt acknowledged, Jessica Arias, our Animal Services Director. She's also here this evening, and she's available for questions as necessary. But I think it's a great time to thank Jessica and her entire team for their dedication, their commitment to improved outcomes for the animals. Mr. Hunt demonstrated that with some of the statistics he shared, and basically for better lives for the animals of Alamance County. Jessica and her staff team do an amazing job. I see at least one other person on our team here this evening. They do an amazing job. It's inspiring for all of us colleagues on the city staff to see their hard work and their diligence is displayed on a daily basis. And as Mr. Hunt said, this is also sort of a tribute to their hard work as well. Also want to take a moment to thank our local government partners, especially Alamance County. Their significant important role in funding the support of this project, as Mr. Hunt shared the numbers. County commissioners are contributing $2.9 million to this project. They made that decision back in September of 2016, and we're grateful for their support towards this construction project. It's critical to work together to solve problems, and obviously that conversation has been had in this community. It's a great example of government coming together to resolve an important need. And Mr. Owen, in his time as manager, got that ball rolling, got those commitments established, and it's great to see the partnerships when they work out. And so we want to thank all our partners at the county for their support. It's also an appropriate time to recognize, congratulate, commend, and thank the city's wonderful friends and partners, the Paul's Board of Directors, and Sam and Vicki Hunt. As you all know, council members, they're committed. They have a dedicated and committed team of animal welfare advocates. We heard about that in Mr. Hunt's remarks. Mr. and Mrs. Hunt themselves have worked tirelessly for many years, sounds like at least 16 years, if not longer, to get us to this day. Construction initiation, commitment of funds is the final step to make this dream a reality. The new facility will be superb. The animals, most importantly though, the animals of Alamance County will be the better for it. The focus, the genuine concern, the advocacy for betterment of animals displayed by Mr. and Mrs. Hunt is truly amazing. We greatly appreciate your effort and want to thank you publicly for your hard work to do so. So as Mr. Hunt said, Paul's is contributing $750,000 towards the construction of this project. This represents one of the largest private donations ever received by the city, and we are greatly appreciative of that. The project would not be this far along without their tremendous support. They've encouraged us, they've nudged us to keep it moving and not let the wheels of bureaucracy slow things down, and we appreciate that. The encouragement and that guidance. We're all looking forward to a groundbreaking this spring, and Eric's going to give you some details about what we can expect on that. We look forward to celebrating with all our friends here from Paul's and the Hunts and folks from all our folks around the community, all our community partners that have contributed as well. So thank you all very much for everything. And without any further delay, I'm going to ask Eric Hilton to come forward, and he's going to, from our Public Works Department, he's going to share the technical details of the construction contract.
All right, thanks, Harden. That one. Let's do that one. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to. Where's the? There we go. Thanks for the opportunity to come up and give you a little bit of information about the process to date. The Hunts have passed out a brochure that contains the graphics that I was going to share with you today. The first did a good job with it. In fact, better than I would have done, so I'm glad they did. The outside view gives you a picture of what the storefront's going to look like at the new facility. The inside view, this is a shot looking out the front door, and you can see the desk there. We're enclosing the existing breezeway there to make a kind of a retail, if you want to call it a retail area, so people will feel like they're coming into a more retail environment than an institutional environment. So we've got the desk, the service desk there. The customer would see that view as they walked in and looked towards the staff, and you can see the animals in the background, as well as you can see the animals from the outside of the building. building. So one of the things that we tried to do was to make the animals more apparent in the facility to create interest and create some motivation for folks to stop and see what kind of pets are available for adoption. As Mr. Hunt said, adoption is what we're trying to do in building this facility. We're trying to make the animals more adoptable to the public. So the details behind this, we started the project in October of 2016 with our design. Jackson Ryan is the architect, as Mr. Hunt has said. They've done a good job. We went through several iterations in 2017 of design. We tried to maximize the amount of space we could acquire with minimizing the cost and trying to make sure we didn't sacrifice any functionality. So those three competing objectives took several months to work out, and then we worked on the storefront aspect as well to get it appealing and to the point it is today. We put the documents out for bid in December. We received the bids back in January and opened bids on January 25. We'd like to award the contract tonight, obviously, and when we do that, we'll issue a notice to proceed in about 2 weeks, so around the March 5 time frame. We just need to get the bonding in place. We can issue notice to proceed. Dodson Chapman's told me they're ready to go, so I expect they would be willing to mobilize within a week or 2 or 3, depending on the weather and their equipment availability. But we would be in the time frame of beginning construction by April. With the timeline we have assigned to the project, the architect has estimated it's going to take about 18 months to finish, because we're going to have to stage the construction to operate the facility while we're building the facility and then renovate the existing facility. So there's some challenges to how we do that transition from one space to the next and remodel and continue the service that we have to provide. So that stretches the timeline. So all that to be said means that we'll be operating the new facility sometime in the September, October of 2019 time frame, barring any unforeseen circumstances, of course. But that's a brief timeline on the project, and as Hardin said, I'll be glad to answer any questions on that.
Any questions from council? Thank you.
Okay.
Do I hear a motion from council regarding this item?
Mr. Mayor, I would love to make a motion. Sam mentioned about me, he getting old. I'm not going old, but it was dark hair when we started this. I can assure you that. This has indeed been a long process, more than you ever could imagine. And in my 40 years in government, never have I ever been around people in the community stepping up like they did. Sam used a term a while ago, and I'm not sure people got it. It's $750,000 for this project. But that's a down payment on what they've done for the dogs and animals and our cats over the years. I think you said 1.8 million. If I'm not mistaken, in 1 year you're averaging about $85,000 a year, basically to put Band-Aids on the existing facility to keep it functional. I'm not going into history, but people need to understand that the state requires a certain level of a facility of this type. And I know you may have heard, but why it costs so much money? Well, it's a lot more to it than what people might think an animal shelter used to be and what's required now in terms of air quality and so forth, and also protection for our staff, who has a very difficult time in many situations out there. So it's my pleasure to make a motion to award a contract for the expansion and construction of the Burlington Animal Shelter to Dodson and Chapman Construction, and approve the budget amendment 2018-28 Animal Shelter Project Ordinance is spelled out in the agenda.
Do I hear a second?
I'd like to second that, Mayor. Good.
Any questions regarding the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is passed. Thank you very much, everyone. We look forward to that groundbreaking announcement date very soon.
And Keith, congratulations. It's great to have a local contractor.
That moves us to item 2 on our agenda. City Council will consider awarding a contract in the amount of $941,318.55 to Riley Paving, Inc. for the 2018 street resurfacing project. At this time, we recognize City Engineer Todd Lambert.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I come before you to ask that you award the contract for our resurfacing for our 2018. We had open bids in December. We had very competitive bids for us for resurfacing with 3 contractors bidding and about $100,000 between all 3 contractors. So we were happy with the bids and we hope to proceed. We do have in your packet both the bid tabulations to see the breakdown from the bidders and the maps showing the streets that are proposed to be included in this contract.
Any questions from council regarding that contract or the street that's proposed? Do I hear a motion from council regarding this item?
Make a motion that we approve the contract to Riley Paving for the 2018 resurfacing project.
Second.
Any questions regarding the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is passed. Thank you very much. Item 3, City Council will consider approving an application to the Fannie Mae Innovation Challenge Grant. And this time we recognize Director of Planning and Community Development, Amy Nelson.
Thank you, and good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the Sustainable Communities Innovation Challenge Grant. It's through the Fannie Mae Group. The challenge will generate innovative ideas to help us being Fannie Mae, address the affordable housing crisis in America. This is their first year with such a grant. Their definition of sustainable communities is those providing residents opportunities for employment, health, and wellness, and education. It's a 3-phase initiative, and right now they're doing the first phase. So if we were to successfully achieve this grant, we would be involved in the phase 1 process, which would take a while. So it'll be, they're starting the second phase a little early, so we would have to apply for the one next year. But we can apply for phase 1 this year. Phase 2 would be next year. We have a scope of work set out, the staff has come up with, and staff involved in this process would be myself, Peter Bishop, the Economic Development Director, Sonia Randolph, our Community Development Administrator, who is familiar with these types of grants, and David Veal, our Assistant Planning Director. Now, what is the grant? It's an effort to help address the affordable housing crisis in America while focusing on employment, health and wellness, and education. It's pretty broad in its scope. There's not a whole lot of guidelines to go by. What we're looking at is, as far as Burlington goes, we've had such a decline in our manufacturing, as everyone knows. In doing some research for this project, we found out that there are quite a few facilities that are being utilized either partially or fully by various means, either storage or active manufacturing of some type. So it was good news to see so much activity actually going on where we had thought more negatively about it. So we are looking at vacant or underutilized sites that could be candidates for some type of reuse, revival. And the scope of the project, we are looking at, as I said before, phase 1, which is research and design studies for planning and feasibility, prototype design, or even pilot programs. We would like to focus on former manufacturing facilities to see if there are opportunities available for some type of reuse. For specifics, we have our study purposes utilizing the comprehensive plan for some guidance. We narrowed the field down to facilities that are near the railroad, near the downtown business district, and 50,000 square feet or larger. Who will do the study? We are hoping to contract with the DFI through the UNC School of Government. That's the Development Finance Initiative. and looking at them to perform the assessment of the facilities for the Phase 1. The Innovation Challenge funds up to $250,000 for contract studies. And based on previous talks with DFI, we believe that we'll be well within that scope. This is preliminary, and a more defined contract amount will be developed through an RFP once a grant is awarded, provided that we do that. There is no cost sharing or in-kind participation by the city. The grant covers 100%. There will be some staff efforts involved in helping to guide the process, but that will be it. We have contacted the facilities that are in our scope range, and some we've heard back from, some we have not. We'll plan accordingly based on their interest, and we acknowledge that not all of the site owners will choose to be partners in the study. Because like I said, some are fully utilized at this time, and they do not wish to participate, which is a good thing, really. The deadline for this grant is this Friday, February 23rd. Those who are selected to participate will be notified by Fannie Mae in May of 2018. Official announcement of the contract awards will be made in June of 2018. And there's a 24-month time period for the study. So we will deliver our results to Fannie Mae if we get the grant, and they will hopefully be able to use that as a pilot project for other communities in the countries. Does anyone have any questions?
Questions regarding this grant opportunity? Do I hear a motion regarding this item?
Mayor, I move to approve the application.
Second.
Any questions regarding the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our agenda items for this evening. We had no registered public comment this evening. Do I hear any council comments?
Mayor, I'd like to congratulate both the Williams and Cummings boys basketball teams for winning their respective conference championships Saturday night. And I go back a few years. It's been a while since both of those teams have won those championships. Now, I think maybe we have one council member who was alumnus of one of the schools that didn't quite make that this year.
Well, we beat them 2 out of 3 times. We didn't beat them when it mattered.
But with that being said, that's I think it's great for both our local high schools to have that success.
Thank you. On that note, I believe we have a couple students in the audience. Is it your class that's here? Would you mind introducing your students?
Sure. Did you all stand up? Yeah. So, back here, this is Colin Walsh. He's a student at Williams High School. And there we have Jackson Williams and Garrett Hawkins on all of our students in class.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming. Other council comments?
Mayor, I just have one comment, getting back to one of the agenda items with Paul's. A lot of volunteers are here tonight with Paul's, and I want to thank each and every one of the volunteers that are here. You know, this thing went back to a joint city-county meeting, and Harold, you'll recall this, and I was looking at my notes, it was May 11 to 15 was when we had our joint city-county meeting. And Hardin said it earlier, but without the $2.9 million from the county, this wouldn't have ever happened. So, we took action on this particular item tonight, but the county stepped up to do their portion as well. And that just shows you what a public-private partnership can do when everybody works hard on something for a long period of time, does their homework, and it comes together. So for all the volunteers in here, I want to thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. There's a couple announcements I want to share real quick before we close. I want to thank everyone who came out last week to our Quasqui Centennial celebration outside in front of City Hall. If you noticed on your way in, this building is lit up blue and green. I can't even pick my colors tonight. Gold and blue to celebrate the city's 125th anniversary. Those lights will be up all year long. As well, there'll be other events woven into all of our celebrations throughout the year, and you can find out more information on burlington125.com. Belong in Burlington is returning this year. It'll be happening February 28th right here in City Hall from 6 p.m. until 7:30 p.m. We appreciate everyone who participated last year, and we look forward to another great year of that program. We've talked a lot about pet adoption, and there is a pet adoption adoption special going on this month in celebration of the 125th anniversary. For 125 pennies, that's $1.25, you can adopt an animal today. So we encourage folks to get on out there and help find homes for our wonderful
I think Jessica has some cats in the lobby.
We can hook you up on your way out this evening. And lastly, for those of you not quite as young as I am, the Kernodle Senior Center is hosting their Senior Games information session tomorrow, February 21st, 10 a.m. over at the Kernodle Senior Center. If you've ever wanted to try your hand at the Senior Olympics, this is a great opportunity to find out some more information and join in the fun.
And I'll make sure I let those people know what you said about their age. Mayor, I'm afraid to kick your butt.
Any other council comments? Thank you very much, everyone. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed?